12 Americans are about to be swallowed by hell. Staff Sergeant Roy Benavidez is drinking coffee at a forward operating base near Loc Neng, South Vietnam. He's not supposed to be on this mission. He's not even supposed to be walking. 2 years ago, doctors told him he'd never use his legs again. He hears the radio. 3 separate words crackle through the static. 3 words that change everything.
Get us out.
The voice belongs to his friend. The transmission cuts to screaming, then gunfire, then silence. Benavidez stands up. He's not assigned to this rescue. He has no orders. But 12 Green Berets are surrounded by an entire North Vietnamese Army battalion in the jungle. 2,000 enemy soldiers. 12 Americans. The math is simple. The math is suicide. He runs toward the helicopter pad. Someone tries to stop him. He keeps running. He grabs his medical bag, a knife, no body armor, no time. The helicopter lifts off before he's fully inside. The pilot banks hard toward the coordinates. 6 miles away, a reconnaissance team is dying. They've been compromised, surrounded. The jungle is alive with muzzle flashes. Every direction is enemy fire. They're calling in airstrikes on their own position because there's no other choice. The first rescue helicopter tried 30 minutes ago. It never made it out. Now the crew is dead or captured. The 12-man team is down to 8, maybe fewer. Radio communication is breaking apart. They're running out of ammunition, running out of time. Benavidez knows what waiting for rescue feels like. He knows what it sounds like when your friends die over the radio. The helicopter descends toward a small clearing. The jungle explodes. Tracer rounds streak past the windscreen. The door gunner returns fire. Benavidez can see the muzzle flashes below, hundreds of them. The entire tree line is crawling with enemy soldiers. The helicopter can't land. The pilot hovers 6 feet above the ground. The rotor wash flattens the grass. Bullets punch through the thin aluminum skin. Benavidez jumps. He hits the ground running, 75 yards to the team's position. 75 yards through a bullet storm. He doesn't crouch, doesn't zigzag. He sprints in a straight line because every second counts. Something hits his leg. He keeps running. His right calf is bleeding. He doesn't slow down. The wounded are ahead. He can hear them screaming. He crashes through the brush and finds them scattered in the undergrowth. 4 men are dead. The rest are torn apart by shrapnel and bullets. The team leader is still alive. Barely.
Benavidez drags him toward the helicopter. The man weighs 200 pounds, plus gear. Benavidez pulls him through the dirt while bullets snap past his head. He makes it 10 yards. Then something slams into his back. Shrapnel from a grenade. He feels the hot metal punch through his skin. His shirt is shredded. Blood runs down his spine. He keeps pulling. Another explosion. More shrapnel tears into his arms and face. He can't hear anymore. His ears are ringing. Everything sounds underwater. He reaches the helicopter, throws the team leader inside, then runs back. There are more wounded. He finds another soldier face down in the mud, both legs shattered, unconscious. Benavidez lifts him in a fireman's carry 75 yards back to the helicopter. The weight is crushing. His legs are giving out. Blood fills his boots. He makes it. Loads the second man. Turns around and runs back into the jungle. This time, he's looking for the dead. He won't leave them behind. The North Vietnamese are closing in. They want the bodies. They want the documents, the classified radio codes, the maps. Benavidez knows what happens if they get captured. He finds the team sergeant, dead. Benavidez grabs the man's weapon and ammunition, strips the classified documents from his vest, then picks up the body. The enemy is 20 yards away. He can see their uniforms through the smoke. He fires his rifle one-handed while carrying the dead soldier over his shoulder. The helicopter pilot is screaming at him to hurry. The aircraft is barely holding together. The tail rotor is damaged. Hydraulic fluid is spraying across the fuselage. They have maybe 90 seconds before the helicopter can fly anymore. Benavidez makes it back, loads the body, then sprints into the jungle again. 4 more wounded soldiers are still out there. He finds them clustered behind a fallen tree. One man has a sucking chest wound. Another is missing part of his jaw. They're unconscious, dying. Benavidez starts dragging them one by one toward the helicopter. The North Vietnamese soldiers are everywhere now. They're flanking the position. Benavidez can hear them shouting commands. He picks up an AK-47 from a dead enemy soldier and fires it empty, then picks up another. His own rifle is out of ammunition. His pistol is gone. He's using the enemy's weapons against them. Another grenade detonates near his legs. The blast throws him sideways. His thigh is torn open. Bone is visible through the wound. He can't put weight on his right leg anymore. He drags himself forward using his arms, pulls another wounded soldier toward the helicopter. The distance feels infinite. Every yard is agony. His hands are slippery with blood. He can't grip properly. The soldier keeps sliding out of his grasp. Benavidez locks his arms around the man's chest and crawls backwards through the dirt. 15 yards. 10 yards. 5 yards. He reaches the helicopter and pushes the wounded man inside, then collapses against the landing skid. The pilot is screaming at him. They need to leave, now. The helicopter is dying, but there are still 2 more wounded Americans in the jungle. Benavidez pulls himself upright. He can barely stand. His legs won't support his weight. He uses his rifle as a crutch and limps back toward the tree line. The North Vietnamese soldiers see him coming. They open fire. Bullets kick up dirt around his feet. He doesn't care anymore. He's not thinking about survival. He's thinking about the 2 men still bleeding in the jungle. He's thinking about promises, about the code, about never leaving a man behind. He finds them, both unconscious. One is the team's radio operator. The other is a medic. The medic's intestines are hanging out of his abdomen. Benavidez pushes them back inside and wraps a field dressing around the wound. Then he starts dragging both men together. He can't carry them. His body won't let him, so he drags them, one arm hooked around each man's vest, moving backward on his knees, inch by inch through the mud and blood and spent shell casings. The helicopter is 30 yards away. The enemy is 10 yards behind him. Benavidez can hear them breathing. He turns and fires his last magazine. The rifle clicks empty. He drops it and keeps dragging. 20 yards, 15 yards. The rotor wash is hitting his face now. He can smell the aviation fuel. 10 yards. An AK-47 burst tears across his back. 3 rounds, maybe 4. He doesn't know. His spine is on fire. His legs go numb. He falls forward onto his face, but his arms still work. He claws at the ground and keeps pulling the 2 men toward the helicopter. The door gunner jumps out and grabs one of the wounded soldiers. Benavidez pulls the other. They reach the helicopter. The door gunner throws both men inside, then reaches for Benavidez, pulls him onto the floor of the aircraft. The pilot doesn't wait. He lifts off immediately. The helicopter staggers into the air with its tail rotor barely functioning. The North Vietnamese soldiers are firing everything they have at the aircraft. The helicopter shudders and drops, rises again, drops again. The pilot is fighting the controls. They're overloaded. Too much weight. Too much damage. In the back, Benavidez is lying on top of the wounded soldiers. His blood is mixing with theirs on the helicopter floor. He's been shot 7 times, hit by grenade fragments in multiple locations. His intestines are partially exposed through a bayonet wound he doesn't remember receiving. 37 separate wounds cover his body. But he's still fighting. He's still fighting. Medical personnel rush forward with stretchers. They start pulling out the wounded, one by one, the dead and the dying. They reach Benavidez last. 2 medics lift him onto a stretcher. His eyes are open, staring at the sky. 1 medic checks for a pulse. Nothing. They cover his face with a poncho.
The medic moves to the next wounded soldier. Behind him, underneath the poncho, Benavidez is still conscious. He can hear everything. He tries to move. Can't. His body won't respond. The medic thinks he's dead. Benavidez tries to speak. His jaw is shattered. No sound comes out. He tries to move his hand. Nothing. His arms are paralyzed from blood loss. He's trapped inside his own body. The medics are walking away. He's going to suffocate under this poncho. He does the only thing he still can. He spits. Blood and saliva hit the inside of the poncho. The medic sees it move, stops, pulls back the covering. Benavidez's eyes are open, still alive. The medic screams for help. They load him onto a helicopter for immediate evacuation. The hospital is 8 minutes away. Benavidez flatlines twice during the flight. They revive him both times. He arrives at the 24th evacuation hospital with no measurable blood pressure. The surgeons give him less than 5% chance of survival. They operate for hours, removing shrapnel, repairing organs, stopping internal bleeding. His body temperature drops to dangerous levels. His heart stops again. They shock him back to life. The surgery continues through the night. By morning, he's still alive, unconscious, on life support, but alive. The doctors don't understand how. The human body shouldn't survive what his body endured. The blood loss alone should have killed him. The shrapnel wounds should have killed him. The bullet wounds should have killed him. But he's still breathing. 1 week later, he opens his eyes. He can't speak, can't move, but he's conscious. A doctor comes to his bedside and tells him the truth. He'll never walk again. The damage to his spine is too severe. His legs are permanently paralyzed. His military career is over. Benavidez blinks once. He's heard this before. 2 years earlier, he stepped on a landmine during a patrol. The blast destroyed his legs. Doctors told him the same thing then. Permanent paralysis, medical discharge. He refused to accept it. Spent a year in physical therapy, forcing his legs to move, 1 inch at a time, learning to stand, learning to walk, learning to run. He went back to combat. And now he's paralyzed again. The doctors leave him alone in the hospital room. He stares at the ceiling. 8 soldiers are alive because of what he did. 8 men who would have died in that jungle. 8 families who still have fathers and sons and brothers. The math is simple. The math is worth it. He spends the next year in recovery, learning to walk again, learning to use his arms, learning to speak through his reconstructed jaw. The physical therapy is brutal. Every movement is agony. But he shows up every day because that's what he does. He doesn't quit. 10 years pass.
Benavidez is working a desk job at Fort Sam Houston in Texas. He's retired from combat operations. His body can't handle it anymore. Too much scar tissue, too much damage. But he's still in uniform, still serving. Then, something strange happens. Someone in the Pentagon starts reviewing old after-action reports from Vietnam. They find the incident from May 2, 1968. They interview the survivors, the helicopter pilot, the door gunner, the 8 wounded soldiers who made it out alive. All of them tell the same story.
The story of a man who refused to let them die, who ran into hell 6 separate times to pull them out, who kept fighting after being shot 7 times, who survived because he was too stubborn to die. The Pentagon realizes something. This soldier never received proper recognition. The paperwork was lost in the chaos of war. The witnesses were scattered across different units. No one filed the reports correctly. So they start the process. On February 24, 1981, 13 years after that day in the jungle, Roy Benavidez stands in the Pentagon. He's 45 years old. His body is still covered in scars. He walks with a permanent limp, but he stands at attention while someone reads the citation. President Ronald Reagan enters the room. He's holding a small blue box with a light blue ribbon inside, the Medal of Honor, the highest military decoration in the United States, reserved for acts of valor beyond the call of duty. Reagan opens the box and removes the medal. Benavidez doesn't cry. He thinks about the 12 men in that jungle, the ones who called for help, the ones he pulled out, the ones who lived. He thinks about the promises soldiers make to each other, about the code that matters more than fear or pain or death. Never leave a man behind. Reagan places the medal around his neck. The room fills with applause. The 8 survivors are there, standing in the audience, crying. One of them, the team leader Benavidez pulled out first, steps forward. He salutes. The others join him. Benavidez returns the salute. Then Reagan asks him a question. Asks him why he did it. Why he ran into that jungle when he had no orders, no assignment, no reason to be there except friendship and duty. Benavidez thinks for a moment, then gives the simplest answer possible. Because they needed me.
In 1998, Roy Benavidez dies at age 63. His funeral is held at Fort Sam Houston. Thousands attend. Fellow soldiers, veterans, strangers who heard his story and wanted to pay respects. 8 men stand together near the front. The survivors. They're older now, gray hair, soft hands, civilian clothes. But they stand at attention while the honor guard folds the flag, because they remember. They remember the man who ran into hell 6 times to pull them out, who refused to quit, who refused to die.
Benavidez teaches us that heroism is simple. It's hearing someone call for help and running toward them instead of away. That's it. No superpowers, no special training, just the decision to care enough to act, to value someone else's life as much as your own, to refuse to leave anyone behind, even when leaving them seems like the only option. The jungle is gone now. The fire base is abandoned. The men who fought there are mostly dead, but the story remains. Because stories like this matter. They show us what humans are capable of when everything else is stripped away. When there's no time to think, no time to plan, no time to be afraid. Just someone calling for help and the choice to answer. Benavidez answered. And his answer echoes across generations, through military training, through history books, through videos like this one, teaching new generations that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the refusal to let fear make your decisions. That's the legacy. That one choice can save 8 lives. That one decision to act can ripple across decades and touch thousands of people who never knew your name. Roy Benavidez made that choice. That's the story. That's the lesson. That's why we remember. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel for more incredible, true stories of courage and sacrifice. Drop a comment below and tell us, what would you do if you heard those 3 words? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this story today.
Because stories like Roy Benavidez's deserve to be told. They deserve to be remembered. They deserve to inspire the next generation to run toward the sound of someone calling for help. Thanks for watching. And remember, courage is a choice we all get to make.